Above the streets and houses, rainbow climbing high. Everyone can see it smiling over the sky. Paint the whole world with a rainbow. Rainbow. All along the streams and rivers, shining in the lakes. See the colors of the rainbow as the morning breaks. Paint the whole world with a rainbow. Red, the color of a sunrise. White clouds floating in a sky of blue. Green for the rivers, gold for the cornfields. The day is shining new. Red, the color dark and still. Rainbow. Take some green from a forest, blue from the sea. Find the misty pot of gold and mix them thoroughly. Paint the whole world with a rainbow. Streams and rivers shining in the lakes. See the colors of the rainbow as the morning breaks. Paint the whole world with a
Jillanory.
Until he was 4 years old, James Henry Trotter had a happy life.
Good afternoon, children. Today we're going to read a nighttime story, bit of a nightmare story, really. This is a wonderful book called My Shadow is Pink. It's a book by a man called Scott Stewart. And what's very special about Scott is he's very, very subtle. Where can you find this book? Well, you can find it in your school library, especially if your school is with the No Outsiders program. Shall we read it? Here's a little clue to what the book might be about. And this is for children just like you. And you don't even need to tell your mummy and daddy that you're reading it. You might even get away with reading it in Key Stage 1 or maybe Key Stage 2. Oops-a-daisy, children. That wasn't supposed to happen. My dad has a shadow that's blue as can be. There's nothing but blue in my whole family tree. But mine is quite different. It's not what you think, for mine is not blue. Those lovely men with moustaches all in every single picture. My shadow is pink. My shadow loves ponies and books and pink toys, princesses, fairies, and things not for boys. But there's one thing it likes most, I have found. It loves wearing dresses and dancing around. It spins and it sparkles and it twirls through the air. Then stops as my dad walks in with a stare. It will turn blue one of these days. Don't worry, he says. It's just a phase. Dad's shadow is blue. It's big. It is strong. But when I stand with it, I just feel so wrong. I wish mine was blue like all of the others. I wish mine was blue like my dad's and my brother's. I'd be part of the group. Of that there's no doubt. But I cannot fit in when my shadow stands out. Isn't it lovely? Now things are all changing, and that is not cool. I'm ready to start my first day at school. Pencils and books and lunch you must bring. Dress up with your shadow in its favourite thing. My heart skips a beat as I put on a dress, and I look at my dad, who's anxious and stressed. He takes me to class, and I turn to say bye, and his face is all worried, and there's fear in his eyes. So I step in the doorway and puff out my chest. One thing is clear, I'm not like the rest. I try to say hi, but my voice is too quiet. The kids turn around, and the room, it goes silent. I run out of the door, and I push past my dad. I run to my house, feeling angry and sad. If my shadow was blue, I'd be there making friends. I'd be laughing and playing and drawing with pens. I'd rip off my dress, throw it down to the floor. I won't wear it again. Not ever. No more. Just then at my door came a soft little knock. It's my dad walking in, and I look up in shock. Both he and his shadow in dresses they stood, with shimmering seams and pink sparkling hoods. He speaks in a voice that is quite soft but is stern. Pick up that dress. You must listen and learn. I see now it's true. It's not just your shadow. It's your innermost you. He showed me the photos of parents and brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and others. We've all had a shadow that's hidden from eyes. Sometimes our shadow, it lives in disguise. His shadow loves painting and fashion and art, Her shadow loves engines and powerful cars. His shadow loves dance with turns and its twirls. Her shadow, she hides it. Her shadow likes girls. His shadow loves theatre and acting and plays. Her shadow loves science and planets and space. Your shadow is you, and pink it will be. So stand up with your shadow and yell, "This is me!" And some they will love you, and some they will not. But those that do love you will love you a lot. So put on that dress and get back to the school. If someone won't like you, then they are the fool. My heart nearly burst, and my shadow, it soared. I picked up the dress and wore it once more. We ran out of the door, this time holding hands. My dad and our shadows, together we stand. I stride in my class and I puff out my chest. I may be different, but different is best. I join a small group, though I don't blend. They look up and smile. Will you be our friend? That's a lovely Danny Minogue, that great author. When I got to the end of this story, I thought, why has this book never existed before? It's simply perfection. Well, Danny, that will be mainly because it's a load of shit and it's a really horrible message. Oh, I can hear you with your soft bleeding hearts. We should just let these children do whatever they want. And I'm going to tell you why this is so bad. And I'm going to tell you something that will make you quite sad. This book is to groom your tiny little children at school. It is a bridge, merely a stepping stone. A bridge. So that they can associate one set of likes with the opposite sex. And that is signified by pink. Because you can't have a blue shadow and like girly things, can you? You can't be a boy. Inside, you must really be a girl. That's what this story is all about. That is in your school. If your school is no outsider school, that is one of the recommended books. My shadow is pink. And this is right throughout the libraries. Publishing is doomed. Absolutely doomed. It's mad. But it didn't say I like ballet and I can be a boy. I'm going to read you some other books over the next few weeks that all have this same theme. Very subtle. And what is subtle, everyone? What is subtle? What do adults do when it's subtle? It's called grooming. It's called grooming. Now, I know that there's loads of you. They're going to say, oh, these regressive stereotypes. That's what this book is. It's just you might not be able to tell. And some feminists, some socialist feminists who will disagree with me on this, they will say that this book is merely helping children break stereotypes and gender non-conforming and yada, yada, yada. But it isn't doing that at all. It's saying, if you like dancing and if you like dolls, then along with dolls will go all the other things. And actually your shadow, your inner self, your innermost you is a girl. Because one of the things that I've noticed, and I've looked at lots of these books and lots of the lesson plans that go along with them, is that they really do fixate on stereotypes. So I just thought I'd let you know that whilst many of us are going to be so very excited with the news, I'm telling you, if you don't get involved and you don't get this out of your schools, the school system has been captured for a really long time. So this is how it goes. Already there were utterance of it, but it was a fringe issue that nobody really took very seriously. Everyone thought it was just a pile of nonsense. And when it went through Parliament and they created the Gender Recognition Act, it was for a very, very small number of people that were willing to cut their penises off, basically. And then what you had in 2004 is you had the GRA, and the GRA, what that did is it solidified, it gave a nice little foundation for all of the stuff that came after that. And then what happened once you had that foundation is you had the Equality Act. Now, that really solidified. Now, we may have just had a court case which did not amend a damn thing, it just clarified something. But it still exists, and gender reassignment, as we've heard in every interview that anyone's given about, and I do mean anyone that I've listened to, which is probably not as many people as I should. But that goes with the territory of getting incredibly frustrated that people keep talking about male persons, etc., right? So I'll try and skip over that because I could get stuck on it all night and talk about the importance of language and why the fuck we just had to have this court case because people using this stupid language and women just finding it so difficult just to say, please don't talk to me about the rights of these men when women have just had their rights completely eroded over the last 15 years, not helped by any of you in the media that have still sort of said, but trans rights. Women's Hour is a fine example of a program that's absolutely dreadful. And I just want, I'd like someone to say, women, you don't have to take it anymore. Women, we have suffered. So anyway, I digress. So from about 2011, everybody's got their act together. Stonewall have really ramped up the campaigning, and people are lazy and stupid. Just remember that whenever you're doing anything, just remember most people are lazy and stupid. And they went along with these policies and they rewrote policies, and really it went full steam ahead about 2014, 2015. So that's when all the policies in local councils and in schools were really they were changed. So you've got the likes of old Davy Boy Hayton, who had changed the NASUWT policies. So that's what is informing schools. There's all of this, all the unions, they're not going to change. They didn't bother to use any of the exceptions, the legal exceptions and exemptions that have always existed in the Equality Act. They just took the bits that they liked with a whole. Rosie Duffield wrote and asked for my help and support way back before she discovered that I was obviously a raging fascist. And she had gone to a unison or a union meeting in which there was already so much activism, trans activism, that it was a really frightening place to be for a woman. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about your school has probably had these policies for so much longer than you knew, probably since about 2015. So what you have to do, if you can, is you have to try and get them. At the moment, I would say by clarifying the word sex, we are probably back to about 2018, 2019, which is not good enough for me. I want to be back to I want to be back to 2003. That's kind of where I want to be with this, with these policies and what we think of everything. I want to be back to about 2003. And we're such a long way off. And we're such a long way off. It's frightening. So you need to then go into school. You need to have a look at these books. You set yourself a nice little table outside the school. We're going to have downloadable bits of these books so that you can have these resources to show people when you're showing them just how captured your school is. Okay? So simply, you've just got to remember that these policies have been embedded for over 10 years. It didn't take them very long to write. There are some people that keep telling you it's going to take decades to get rid of this stuff. It doesn't if there's a will. And there isn't in this government. They're going to just refer to guidance. That's what's going to happen. They're just going to say the EHRC, let's face it, who are shit and have been shit. And even with supposed kind of great, wonderful leadership, they've been shit. Really, no stamina, bravery, or courage, as far as I'm concerned. And some people say that, yeah, there is, but maybe I have a different idea of courage to other people. Because some people have just stood by and said a little bit or nothing. When they know that these policies are actively harming children, is there something that we're supposed to be grateful for? That they didn't let it go? Like, what is it that we're supposed to be grateful for? That only our children have been, subjected to this shit in schools for such a long time. I don't feel that grateful. I feel like I've had to teach my children and equip my children with a way to not go do lally when their whole school is spewing this nonsense. I can't imagine what it's like when you've got 4 and 5-year-olds who've been in this system now. They've been totally captured. 2015, my children's school back in 2015 had the policy of not saying boys and girls. Like, seriously, if you don't know that this is going on, you have not been listening. So that's just what I want to say. That we have a lot of work to do, and I'm going to tell you more and more about the sort of things that they are doing in schools. But this book is about, if a boy likes something else, it means his innermost self is actually a girl. That's what it's saying. It's just not got the courage to actually groom you like outright, which then wouldn't be grooming, would it? This is what grooming does. When you're groomed, they don't give you the whole idea at once. They gradually give you pieces of the idea. So that's just what I want to say. We'll read about my brother George. And I tell you what I have noticed. Most of these books, when they talk about supposed kind of not fitting stereotypes, it's boys wearing makeup and having nail varnish and being girly. It really is. And it's quite scary. And I know that loads of you are going to be like, oh, yeah, but what's wrong with that? Little boys can do this and little boys can do that. Well, can they? Can it really, really be harmless? Like, my son used to wear dresses, like, used to dress up in fairy outfits, like, for the time that they were playing dress up. But that didn't mean that he would go to school in, like, I wouldn't let him go to school dressed as a pirate. So there's no way I'd let him go to school in a dress. And I may be, I don't know, maybe a little bit more honest. But we do have social norms and conventions. And when we start pretending that we don't, we end up in a place like this. Now, that doesn't mean for a minute that I don't think boys should have long hair, or I don't think that, I don't think any children should wear makeup, FYI. I don't think any children should be dressed like little adults either. I think there's a lot of, I don't think children should dye their hair. I think there's a vast amount of time for children to do that sort of thing. I think dress up and play, they should be able to do whatever they want. They're only children. But I do think that there are certain social conventions that actually, if we're not careful and we allow a teacher to transgress and we start teaching our children about this in this current climate, this is not like 20 years ago. I mean, right now in this climate, I think it's a little bit dangerous. Okay? So let's oh, you're very welcome. That was an accident. Let's just let kids be kids. That just seems like the best thing to me. If you can speak up, even when you know that there will be a lot of people that will misrepresent what you say, and if you say too much, somebody else will come and take your words, dress them up as professional, and speak for you. If you keep speaking when you absolutely need to, find out what's going on in your children's schools, and I promise we will win. If you can operate in a way that your children know that you will stand up for them, even though that makes you unpopular with the teachers at school, then I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Well, it's because I Never. Lose.
Everyone can see it smiling over the sky.